Nature has many unknowns, but one thing is for certain, fish and tomatoes do not have sex. They never have. But one thing of the most impactful feats of genetically modified organisms is taking the DNA of a tomato and a fish and creating a longer life for the tomato on the vine. Quote, John Donovan, 2014. In 1915, there was 1.8 billion people in the world. Today, that number is 7.3 billion, with an expected 9.7 billion people to be in the world by 2050, and food supply in demand to increase by 60 to 100%. One way to fix this problem, GMOs. Shefford, 2016. I, Travis Rowe, have done extensive research on the topic of GMOs, and my partners have as well.
I'm Austin Larson. I have experience with GMOs at the local co-op. They sell GMO seeds to farmers.
I'm Jacob Hago, and I grew up on a farm. I always have, and I've always experienced crops and GMOs.
Genetically modified organisms isn't such a new topic of discussion, but for some reason, it's an issue. New insight can lead to a better understanding of GMOs and the benefits they have on today's society and the future going forward. Today, we will talk to you about the misconceptions of GMOs and the benefits that they can have on the world in the future to come. To begin, let's focus on the problem of misconception and lack of information that is in today's society with GMOs. People fear GMOs, but don't know too much about them. Simply put, people do not like GMOs. Even though GMO crops have been widely used in the US, it still seems that there is many misconceptions about this issue and that people are not getting behind them. As many as 70% of your foods that you eat have GMOs. Lack of information and misconceptions and disregard to lack of fact and logic has caused many issues and reasons why people aren't behind GMOs. A recent academic study found that 63% of people did not think GMOs were safe to eat. That is concerning with 70% of your food being impacted by GMOs. With these scientific studies, there has been no conclusive evidence that GMOs cause any harm to your health or benefit to life. Next, Austin will talk about the second problem that is faced with GMOs.
Thanks, Travis. Most people want to know what's in their food, but then finding out what a GMO is, they're feeling disgusted. This disgust is being brought back home with high sensitivity to food that's being fed into the family. GMOs are often seen as frankenfoods, finding them weird or repulsive. People want to know what's being eaten. When companies are falsifying labels that are put on the foods that don't even have GMOs in them. Greatest concern with GMOs are being unnatural. Many focus groups don't approve of these GMOs, but GMOs aren't anything new, as they can be dated back to hundreds of years. Next, we will talk about the misconceptions of GMOs. If we can't control our human existence, then we should be able to control our food supply. Farmers and scientists have been finding many detrimental factors to our food supply, then in return creating GMOs to increase our crop and food supply. One way they do this is through herbicides. One pro of herbicides they do is genetically modify the DNA in the seeds so that when they go to spray the crop, all the weeds die, but it won't kill the crop. A con to this, the weeds, over the course of time, if they use the same chemical, the weed will grow immunity to that weed, and then the crop will just die along with the weeds. Another modify they use is insecticides. Insecticides are used to kill insects, which in return create better yield for the crops. Another change the farmers and scientists have done is for higher yield production. They do this to find the most money for their crop to sell to the elevator. It helps the farmers produce more the same amount of land that they have. Higher yield can lead to feed more, and increased yield equals more can be produced, which can show to help our infinitely growing population. Now on to Jake with our solution.
Thank you, Austin. Last, let's talk about the benefits of GMOs and what they can do to improve the overall well-being of the world's ever-growing population. By informing the public about the benefits of GMOs and debunking the common misconceptions, one can support the idea. GMO's most effective use so far is the increase in yield. Of 150 studies on GMOs, they all have come to stunning conclusions. The yield of crops has increased by 22% in the last 20 years in corn, soybeans, and rice. In developing countries where hunger is most prevalent, an overall increase in yield was 14% and 60% in profit. Increase in yield is needed for the global hunger crisis. Relatively 800 million people are malnourished in the world. As a result, more people die of starvation than HIV/AIDS, malaria, and tuberculosis combined. According to Janet Renee in her article, Benefits You Get from a GMO, increase in product quality has greatly benefited the farming industry. Use of chemicals from GMOs has gone down. With GMOs, pesticide use has gone down by over 37%. GMOs can be made resistant to microbes, infections such as potato blight, which caused the 19th century Irish potato famine, which killed a lot of people. GMOs are also being developed to increase nutritional value. They're coming out with a gluten-free wheat, so that's pretty cool. Enhanced antioxidant content to prevent heart disease as well. To conclude, with a better understanding of the benefits and this new insight on GMOs, it's clear that the benefits outweigh the cons and can greatly impact the greater good in today's society. Today we talked about the various problems that are faced when supporting genetically modified organisms, the misconceptions associated with the topic, as well as the facts. With the benefits presented to you today taken into consideration, we urge you to allow breeders to take full advantage of the valuable scientific methods to improve crops and the world's food supply. Thank you.